Greetings, this is Anton Pendergast Gavinian, here with a poem on Talleyrand. Let's commence. The acrid innards of the Façade de Paris in 1754 had a soldier 7 years old who gave the clergy his El Diablo Boito, a child sent away at 8 to educate and to marry, de Harcourt, Supplice, and Sorbonne, and religious bold, and in the sparkles of freedom the lame man read Voltaire too. At 21 questioned was the Ancien regime, likewise completed was his religious theme. Once sub the con, the lame devil saw the crown of Louis XVI, the caned man, agent general at 1780, defending the inalienable rights of the church, which later in the lame devil's life he'd deny intense. Soon the Bishop of Autun, despite the king's ick, and consecrated by Louis-André de Grimaldi, though the times changed, so did his birch, at the first Estates General of 1786. 1789, Talleyrand supported the anti-clerical, soon participating in the rights of man's arande and the founding of the civil constitution of the clergy, promoting Jewish suffralism and enlightenalism, excommunicated by God's pious. Then twice he came to London, the second by the visa of Danton, amounting a wreath of peace, only for it to flounder on the crease of the British king's very rug. The madman cried for the lame devil's dirty mug to be hung by the command of men, spawning record of the fleeing emigre, including the explosion by the London warhen, sending him away to a strange Benedictine meal at Falmouth, then out to America, the land which freedom is its mount. Arenberg, his new friend in 1794, gave him an abode. When Arenberg came to France years later, appearing for a returned favour remark, Talleyrand flushed a red-hot forebode. "Remember the man you shot. Your punishment isn't unknotted around my homestay, you black spot." In America, Talleyrand as a bank agent bestowing the Frenchmen's Pledge of Allegiance upon freedom's soil. The future predicted an XYZ scandal with a quasi-war pulled by Talleyrand's bribery handle. The striped warhawk could not fear France's army without any supreme navy. Think of it as how one should be scared of the grandfather's biscuits and gravy. Presented was Talleyrand's coercion and bribe, but as well as Talleyrand's confession and apology to American Gary, after a scheme to remove Talleyrand's blame completely. Adams, seeing that France wanted peace, Convention of 1800 concluded favorably for French colonialists. Left American merchants reparations ignored, angering them for over a century. Living in America, the greatest irony was Talleyrand's desire necessary for French colonialism, for her wealth and posterity. In the future arose the disasters of Haiti, and ended the majority of New World land, or was not fully Francis to give away in the Louisiana Purchase. The leader abandoned the French world empire, abandonation of wealths. 2 American years of exile simmer in the dust. With the aid of Madame Steele and the head of a madman's lust, the new directorate returned to Talleyrand, whose influence sprang a severe reduction of the emigre list. Once again, the foreign minister ideal. Now peace can be kept with the English. No peace can be kept with the English, for actions of the regimes extinguish all avenues. And once again he returned for breakthroughs, but the individual who arrived was brand new, and left him in Europe in aberration, then askew. Letters to a 3-coloured man, and the coup d'etats of 18 Frudicator against the monarchs, 18 Brumaire against the directorates, Lucien and Talleyrand thrown the 3-flavor man, with the stepping down of Barras, the naughty clipped wings spanned. The 3 flavors of France and glory. For the start of the story was the taste of vanilla, for he was quite the calmer Attila, and got the globe's fundamentalism in Armilla, and established unmatched armies, with Europeans running around at the heels like Hermes. And in the middle, the taste of a berry. Talleyrand thrived off the land of a berry, Prince of Benevito, luxurious Mary, if the three flavors held his peace, it'd be a sweet cherry. Her France has gains which only could be wished upon by fairies. Alas, it ended with chocolate. The emperor was a hungry man with a gaudy goblet, and the serving had to be modelled and tidied in his pocket. Any hindrance which disrupted this conduit brought once again France into a desperate gallop, risking multiple times her profits. The peace of Amiens in 1802 should have been its end, and security should have been France's amend, said the lame devil. But I got paid for a job, and who to send but me to be a diplomat to this Rhineland confederation of Germans? Princes fleeing around the world, they can pay a bribe or their lives will be whirled. Holy Rome's fallen old world, in negotiations at Poznan and Saxony. Alas, poor Austria and Prussia, who her tears still stained in my soldier's soul. With this coming war on Portuguese trade, I can no longer tolerate this tirade. The three flavors and three sights into the mind's eyes frights. Talleyrand foreseen France's closing nights, and behind the curtains, burgundy red, sat the Tsar and the lame devil, singing the soul of Napoleon's song to that of vain glory. If the coffers were present, in burgundy red, there was no hidden thought of Napoleon's, undisclosable but remember unsaid, buried in the salons. Unfortunate there is no Dauphine, birthed from burgundy red to coup the dictator, straddling France into continental conflict. Break him like glass, but it's not worth the trouble. Towering hatred to the man of courtly, from the throat of Napoleon, feces and a filth sucking. And the emperor left walking to his stories of Carolus Rex. Educated he was for the goal to not conquer, but to sustain the victories, to preserve bands and trade. Russia could not afford the loss of Britain's goods, so this denial led Napoleon recruitment to an absurdity not seen in many a years, the greatest invasion, composed quite diversely of Spaniards and the Portuguese, who definitely had the mind to sacrifice themselves in Slavic plains, and the Germanics, who loved so earnestly Napoleonic rule. Certainly the Polish, Lithuanians, and Ukrainians were wise, for Frenchmen fight for Napoleon, and those oppressed fight for their freedom. Though never arrived the Polish hero, he withheld in France hateful of Napoleon, for he perceived the emperor's ego and purpose for his homeland, ignored the demands for a Polish constitution and independence. Any other soldier in the Napoleonic army had no other direction in life but poverty or death. So into the Russian sands passed the Duchy of Warsaw, this multicultural army with Balaclava, without it, ignorant of Napoleon's 7-year shattered mirror, from a writer harassed and exiled, shown the emperor's freedom of speech equal true valor. Knew not these soldiers when he kidnapped the Pope, conquered ailed and crossed heaven on the stairwell, Talleyrand begging only forgiveness. Neither was recognized in these winter camps approaching Moscow. Napoleon spilled salt in the Slavic snow, silently covering it in a bluffness. The city's burnt remains left a pearl-white plate with a crumb of baklava and an upside-down hardtack for those glorious armies in need of a mitts. The emperor's rage melted with Russian chills within the retreating regiments. Unbeknownst to history, a clever Russian sandwiched a cat in his armpits, crossed the stream, the source of River Berezina, and sang ridiculing comments, causing mud banks and thawing ice and bridge building amongst 1,000 Cossacks. And Leipzig, falling emperor, stepped right onto dog Viskies, discovering Metternich steel pleasant. Dejected from peace and at St. Desire, Mortiers had no horseshoe in his rucksacks. Anxious emperor chasing stability to King Louis Valou. Here, will he have to make an obeisant? Talleyrand presented Napoleon with a wrapping in burgundy, and it revealed a knife. Unpaid it laid in Napoleonic hands, and at the fall of Paris, Talleyrand Senate Conservator, acte d'entrée de l'Empereur, removed the legendary halt. A Ballsplatz, the assembly of gentlemen nuts, here to solidify Europe's refinement, stood up to the problems of warring, to bring Europe's peace soaring, sought to leave lesser voices unheard, but Talleyrand convinced them it's absurd, leaving France and Spain to the conference table, though Spain did have an agenda written unstable, with the annexation of Poland by the hands of Russia, and the portion of Saxony and the Rhineland to Prussia. A secret alliance on the 3rd of January, 1815, by Talleyrand, Metternich, and Castlereagh, but by Eliade Bleubois too. France contained the land gains too, and no reparations are grand. Oh, blast it, you firebrand! The firing of 100 days ruined the foundation of the lame devil's house of cards in a quick haze. 7 million francs due, reduced to 1740, 1790, covering the cost of fortifications and the soldiers who slept for 3 years at France's stations. The revolution fully repudiated by a constitutional charter and fated secret alliances. Though at the very least there was alliance on the matters of Vienna, confirmed on the 9th of June, 18105. 18105. With the passing of war and a great winter soon to arrive, eating vexing vegetables on a farm was the last significant strive, for one wished for a sojourn to survive. Unlike Louis XVIII, under Louis XVIII, Talleyrand became the scrutinizing elder and the knight of the Holy Spirit. While employed as a Grand Chamberlain, living off its carrot, created the National and became an upholder of the Orleanist cause, and through the July Revolution laws. Once again returned to ambassadorship of Britain, where he aided in the rejection of Belgium's partition. Lastly, there was his treaty with his former enemies. Talleyrand retired for an approaching afterlife, playing whist, consuming wine, and educating Pauline, suffering from depression of past actions, returned to church in time, ordered to severe unction, to the timely death at St. Florentine. Metternich cruelly asked, "Ha! I wonder what he meant by that." There was a cost for such a French host. Talleyrand was a briber, and a man of Croatian fibre. To barely avoid the plummeting economies of Napoleonic corruption atrocities, the excessive greed and violence of regimes, the far-reaching expenses are more than you've seen in your dreams. His actions against Napoleon's regime do not go unforgotten by Bonapartism in Reims. He was the one who allowed the rise of the Teutonic German and crippled Napoleon as if he had the right to determine that the reign of Napoleon could not be any longer decanted into his two-faced decanter. He celebrated in his banter that no more Napoleon shall rule France. We will censor him for that. For that was not a chance. France, oh your chance, the diaphanous flag will prance into the winds of the third's glorious trance. Fiery hell awaited his walls, a complete crippling embarrassment lance, made rubble of the homeland, and spent the rest with dead legitimacy, the Third Republic's democratic stance, aided in the desperate defense of the empire birthed from idiocy romance, rejected as a true universal state in an outtrance, finally claimed the peace after the war dance. Time for new men to take a chance to calm revanchism France. Of people the likes of Napoleon's, you fracture your country's caprice. You bring the Code Civil, crafted by cabarets. You bring a Republican absolutist government. You bring a Mongol horde maintenance of societal economy. Without you, the histories of all your enemies and allies change for the worst. It is easy to thank you as a foreigner. It is for men under you to realize everything you wasted. All those foolish foreign policy decisions removed your status as a colonial empire, crafted a status of never-ending war, leaving the future only for your eventual downfall. Oh, how the people dream of you and terrorize themselves with alternatives, for they wish you were just a smarter man, less blind of yourself, and more so see humanity with your eyes. Talleyrand said, "What an ill temper for such a great man." And this was a summary of Napoleon's person. As his temper mutated to a disastrous state, no diplomat would commit suicide with him. No reasonable one would. Talleyrand was correct. Talleyrand was of reason. Napoleon was for glory. And modern day glory is of the likes of Big Brother's concept. A concept that still flails in our face to distract us from truth and reason. Listen to these voices, you have become prejudiced or illusionary. Dig for the truth and you find the righteous embarrassment to put onto them. What are they pushing you toward? Is it to amount to a damn penny? Or is it the penny of air? The one that disappears from the magician's hand when he departs forever. Now again, observe the image of the six-faced man. They all pledged themselves to the people of the nation, not to the fools. Ideas and practices was the difference fracture. He was the superior practice of a diplomat. Politically grey for peace. Alienate the enemy, and you become hard to hear. He was the naughty little devil. But the man performed mostly every correct gestation, for even the Pope witnessed his angels. He was ideals of a freer Europe, though regimes he conducted under became authoritarian or absolutist, like Metternich. Talleyrand witnessed the destruction of liberal Spain by his own country's hands, bringing the liking of a king useless of any morals. Often the only Bourbon solutions at this time displeased him in foreign affairs. The world revolves, and spontaneous aggression repeats. The insignificant suppression of glory-riding, hot-headed, egotistical brass. Let us dream of France recovering alongside the Seine River on picnic grass. Water rolls and streams under civilization banks. Soak in rain, droplets spotted upon the sportsman's sail. The lonesome storm cloud calmed to ash and thanks. The year-old soldier amongst waters, the guise of realism hail. In these moggy elements, syphilis excruciate the ghost continents, alongside the weeping rain streams mirroring his reflection on water's scope. The chance reflection to him, another separate from he, flushed revenge, said unto him, my heart is filled with his glory. Let's sail to Rome's greatness. What good would we do at home? Conclusion. Thank you for listening to my poem. Have a wonderful moment in time.